So you want to do business, huh?
Yes.
Sit down. Make yourselves comfortable.
Marcus and the right hand sit down. The monster stands. Giovanni asks,
Hey, what's his problem?
He's my bodyguard. He always stands.
All right. So what kind of business do you want to do?
What do you have to offer?
Don't play games with me. Tell me what you want.
I could guarantee a purchase of 5 kilos of either cocaine or heroin every month, and I will give you all of the money that we receive in exchange for protection.
Hey, you don't sound too sure now. Who are you?
I am the leader of the Third Eye.
The Third Eye. Last time I checked, buying cocaine ain't on the Third Eye's agenda.
The Third Eye is under new management.
Yeah? And what are your plans for the organization?
We bring about the change that is necessary in this world.
There ain't no way to change the world, kid.
Watch us.
You're just a kid now, but you'll learn. You'll see the world as cruel, and it don't change for nobody. It's inexorable.
No, it can change. It will change. You will see.
Oh, yeah? Sure it will. Now, enough of this philosophical BS. Let's talk business.
Yes, very well.
So you want 5 kilos a month, and you want to pay us for protection?
Yes, basically.
What do you mean, basically? Is that what you want or not?
Yes, it is.
What do you guys need protection from?
We are going to attempt to form alliances with the other gangs of New York. If they should respond in a hostile manner, then I want to be able to count on your help. Can I?
If you sell the cocaine for $25 a gram, you'll make $25,000 a kilo and $125,000 for 5. You give us that money, you got your protection.
Excellent. We have the money to purchase the product.
Yes, we do. I can tell you guys have never done this before. Come with me.
Giovanni and his men walk past the dinner table and to the door. Marcus says, "The product is not here."
No, I give it to you at the club down the street.
They all exit the penthouse, walk down the hall, and enter the elevator. They travel down to the main floor and get out to exit the building. They walk across the sidewalk and get in their vehicles. They drive down the street. Giovanni and his men park and get out of their car parallel to a building emanating alternating lurid polychromatic light and loud music. Marcus, the right hand, and the monster pull up behind them and get out of their jeep. They enter the bright, crowded, colorful, and loud club. They follow Giovanni and his men through the jubilant and Stentonian crowd to a staircase leading to an office. They enter the phlegmatic office that is of stark contrast to the edifice below, and the door is closed behind them by the guards, who remain outside the room. Giovanni sits at the desk and says,
Stay over there by the door. No funny business.
"Not at all." Giovanni's men enter the room soon after, with a tote bag. The man with the bag rests it on Giovanni's desk, unzips the bag, and one by one unloads 5 kilos of pure cocaine onto his desk. The man steps away, and Giovanni asks,
Where's my money? I have it.
The right hand pulls a few wads of money out of his vest. One of the people in the room employed by Giovanni retrieve the currency and places it on Giovanni's desk, then says,
Each stack has $10,000 in it.
Giovanni counts the money with a nearby desk-mounted machine, then says,
All right, we're copacetic here. Come get the coke.
The monster produces a briefcase. The right hand acquires the briefcase, walks towards the desk, places the briefcase on the desk, and places the kilos of cocaine in the briefcase. As they head out of the room, Marcus says, "I will see you next time."
Yeah, see ya.
The three of them walk out of the club and get into their jeep. The right hand started the jeep, and they drive off to their base. On the way, the monster returns to its garish form, and Marcus says, "That was intense. Nothing like this has ever happened to me before."
This is just the beginning, Marcus.
What will be done with all of this cocaine?
The third eye faculty will sell it on the street for $25 a gram, as Giovanni suggested. However, you and I have other business to attend to.
And what would that be?
We will go to the trap tomorrow, and we're going to make them a proposition for an alliance. If they do not accept, we will eliminate their leaders and take their forces for our own.
Certainly there is a way to acquire their allegiance without resorting to murder.
You are still not comfortable with killing.
No, it should not be done. Only the feeble humans have to resort to that.
And who taught you that?
I taught myself.
You would not have taught yourself such a vapid belief. Only those whom cannot face death think that way. Think, Marcus. Who to you is so feeble-minded as to fear death?
The humans?
Yes, Marcus. We do not fear life. So why should we fear death?
Because we do not know what happens to us.
And do you see? That is the fear of change. Humans are thrusted into life blissfully unaware of their surroundings until they are forced to move on, exhausting all of their resources and merely sinking into the primordial ether. But if we are proactive in our death as we are in our lives, we might find something new.
I assume you do not mean that we should let ourselves die.
From time to time, yes.
You can only die once.
I know it's so easy to believe that, but it isn't true.
I do not understand how that is possible.
I didn't either, until I searched within myself and explored different ways of existing.
When did you do this?
Earlier today. Take my hand, and I will stop your heart and take your mind on a journey.
You can stop my heart and then resuscitate me.
Yes.
Marcus stares at the monster's outstretched hand.
Don't be afraid to use the tools, Marcus.
Is death considered a tool?
It is one of the greatest tools there is.
Marcus reaches for the monster's outstretched hand, then stops and says, "Will this hurt me?"
Should it stop you?
Marcus takes the monster's hand. A shock, pulse that emanates from the monster's body and travels through Marcus's body and then stops his heart. Marcus quickly passes out. The monster places its hand on Marcus's head and then converts his brainwaves into an unknown cosmic force that absorbs electromagnetic energy. Marcus and the monster both leave their bodies. Marcus asks, "Am I dead?"
You are alive in a different form.
This is amazing. Is this what happens after we die?
Not all experience this. Only those whose spiritual lineage have aligned with the curvature of existence. If you work with death, you can master it.
This is incredible. I can fly. Wait, why are we still traveling with the Jeep?
Because that's how we want to travel.
Marcus's astral form flies away from the Jeep and into the sky. The monster follows him. Marcus says, "Is this what you do while you're sitting so quietly on those crates?"
I do not remain in this dimension. I explore other forms of life.
I want to see if I can find Melissa.
You miss her.
I do not exhibit such insipid traits as sorrow. But it would be interesting to see her. Oh dear, I suddenly feel weak.
Your body is becoming weaker. You will not be able to return to that body if it dies.
How long do I have?
You have 36 hours.
Could I have sustained brain damage?
No. I have been sustaining your mind.
I want to see Melissa.
I will take you to her.
The two travel past the very fabric of space and time, beyond the boundaries of the world of late, and arrive at Melissa's apartment. How did you do that?
Practice.
She's sleeping. Can I enter her dreams?
I have not figured out how to navigate the human mind efficiently yet.
Do you know something about dream traveling?
I can read into the mind of man, but to enter it requires a greater understanding of the essence of self.
Can you tell me what she's dreaming about?
She is in a theater, wearing a red dress. Everyone has a potato. She's crouching and leaving the theater. The other spectators are now throwing their potatoes upward.
I've got to see this. Marcus flies toward Melissa and slips into her mind.
What? Well, being shocked is fun.
Marcus travels quickly through Melissa's prefrontal cortex and into the active parts of her brain. Marcus eventually finds himself flying into Melissa in her dream. They both fall to the floor. Melissa sits up and says, Marcus, is that you? It sure is. Wow, look at all of those potatoes. Holy crap! This is a dream! I'm awake in a dream! I can feel myself on my bed! You can? That's odd. A loud, thunderous voice says,
Traveling through her mind has triggered her proprioception, causing her dream to become a lucid one.
Lucid dream? What's that? That's when you dream and you know that you're dreaming. Yeah, I'm even smarter than you here. I just happen not to know that.
We should return soon to prepare for tomorrow.
It looks like I can travel into the human mind. And why does your voice sound so loud and deep?
My voice is being changed by Melissa's subconscious.
Will Melissa remember any of this?
She will have a vague recollection.
Who is that? That is my new mentor. He is very cool, as you might say. You're a strange figment of my imagination. I am not a figment of your imagination. This all seems so real. This is real to some extent. That's impossible. Nothing is impossible. I see that now. If that's true, if somehow we're communing physically, then where have you been? Your aunt is worried sick about you. I told her that I was off to pursue my destiny, to become a leader. I never said I was coming back. She thought you were going to the leadership program at the Third Eye Activity Center.
We have to go.
Why?
I don't want to take any chances with her, Marcus.
What can she do?
If you were to divulge certain details, then she might interfere with our plans.
And say what? She had a dream? If this is you, come home to the people who love and care about you. Love and care are human cages. I have been stuck in them for long enough. It is time that I moved on. What are you talking about? I suppose you do not understand. You are only human. How did you get like this? Please tell me you aren't dead. Well, yes, technically I am. Oh, God, no! How? My mentor did it so that I could explore the universe and come to see you. What? How could you do that? So many people love you. As I said, my mentor... Auntie Faith loves you. I love you, Marcus. I'm coming back.
Marcus, she's getting to you. I'm pulling you out.
You're responsible for this. You did this to Marcus. Show yourself, you bastard!
Goodbye, little girl.
A bright flash of light appears, and a large pink arm reaches through the light and pulls Marcus out of Melissa's mind. Melissa awakens from her dream, but she cannot see the astral form of Marcus and the monster floating uber-triad her. Marcus asks, "Why did you pull me out?"
You allowed your heart to cloud your judgment.
I might have convinced her had you given me the opportunity.
You would not have been able to convince her. Humans are too ignorant and stubborn to be persuaded that way, as you could see.
The monster looks down at Melissa and says,
She is writing down what she remembers. It appears she remembers most of it.
Perhaps she will not take it that seriously.
She seems dubious for now, but we will not wait and find out. The jeep has almost reached our base.
Marcus and the monster travel away from where they find Melissa and find the jeep with their bodies still in it. Marcus says, "Why does your body sit up straight and mine simply lay there?"
Practice. Now call your hound.
I do not have a hound.
Between every astral projection and its vessel, there lies a connection. I call that a hound because of the way it seeks you out.
The monster whistles, then is snatched back into its body. Marcus tries to whistle, but can't. The monster looks up and uber-triad her at Marcus's astral body and says,
Just call it. You don't have to whistle.
To me, hound! Marcus is snatched into his body and takes a sudden deep breath. He struggles to breathe. The right hand looks back and says, "Is he all right?"
He will be fine. Keep driving.
They arrive at the warehouse and drive in through the cargo bay. The monster carries Marcus from the jeep to Marcus's cot. The monster, followed by the right hand and other Third Eye members, lie Marcus down on his cot and places its hand on Marcus's chest. The monster's consciousness travels into Marcus's mind and slows his breathing. The monster says to all the Third Eye members,
He is not to be disturbed until tomorrow.
The monster leaves the room and says,
Right hand, see that the cocaine is sold by the end of the week.
Yes, facilitator. What happened to Marcus?
He exhausted himself exploring his astral form. You are able to do that for him. I learn to do more and more every moment.
Could you show me?
Your chance will come, but for now, do as you are told.
Yes, facilitator. The monster walks away, sits upon a crate, and continues its exploration. At the 64th Infantry Military Base Hospital Annex, Oliver Proster is finishing his daily regimen of push-ups next to his hospital bed.
4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 7. 4, 5, 8. 4,
Director
5,
Markel
9.
Waffer of the Paranormal Military Research Division
4,
walks into the room
16.
and says,
Sorry to disturb you, but we have a situation.
No problem, sir. What's the situation?
We watched the church on West 29th and planted cameras throughout during the Sunday services. We got lucky.
While Markel sets up a projector on Oliver's bed, Markel says,
Could you turn off the light? Yes, sir.
The projector begins to run. The projector footage displays a character that is suspected of being a person of interest operating with the Grimm, stepping into the sanctuary and opening some sort of televisual anomaly. There are two men that appear on the other side of this portal. They are Velma's men. At this point in the film, they tell the Grimm's emissary,
The government does not suspect of your next move in the city.
The Grimm's emissary responds by saying,
We want the government away from our 3 new churches until we can find the key.
The Grimm is up to something big, and we need to find out what they're after before it's too late. What would you suggest? We need to go to Velma, find out what she knows about this. You think she will talk? Velma is actually a very generous person. All we need to do is sweet talk her a little bit, and she'll talk. Okay, then I want you on it. Am I being discharged now, sir? Yes, your tests have checked out okay, so you're ready. Thank you, sir. I'll get to work immediately. I'm going to need my squad and a flight to Madrid, Spain. Yes, now there is one other thing. What is that, sir? There was a massacre very similar to the one that occurred at the hospital. We know that the NYPD was going to move in on a gang called the Third Eye, while they were moving in on the Vidum tax firm. All of the officers assigned to the operation were killed in a manner similar to the civilians at the hospital. The Third Eye? I've never heard of them. They've managed to keep a low profile. Until now. A missing persons case was just filed for a boy named Marcus Part. The last location we could place him was at an organization called the Third Eye Activity Center, and I don't think that name is a coincidence. What sort of activities go on in there? It's an inner-city youth development program. The staff there say he arrived for a 2 p.m. appointment and then left 20 minutes later, though the kids that wait near the entrance that were interviewed say that they never saw him leave. Something doesn't add up here. I agree. I think that the massacres, the Grimm, the Third Eye, and the boy are all related. I think the Grimm is using the Third Eye to get what they want, and the boy is part of it. I'll go to Spain, and then hopefully I'll have a clearer picture. It will be ready in less than an hour. Your gear is with property. Thank you, sir. 45 minutes later, Oliver and his squad convene at a nearby airstrip, where they promptly take off and begin their trip to Spain. While on the way, Oliver is briefing his team. I think we all know the drill. We are going to infiltrate Velma's stronghold. The stronghold is surrounded by a gate which we will scale at the south side. Oliver points to a diagram and says, We will scale this wall here, then enter this window directly into Velma's chamber. She is strong, armed, and temperamental, so let me do all the talking. Stay on your danger zones and be alert to your spectrometers.
Velma has armed guards with cloaking fields. That's all, folks.
5 hours later, they drop down from the airplane and parachute down to the ground. They scale the tall gate with grappling hooks, then shimmy down from the exterior gate and walk up to the wall of the fortress. One of Oliver's teammates suddenly says,
4 o'clock.
Oliver quickly takes aim at the silver blob on his spectrometer and fires. The cloaked enemy soldier drops quietly. They scale the wall 50 feet up to the window with a special suction cup grappling line launcher that Oliver was carrying. They reach the window ledge, and Dwayne cuts a hole in the window. They drop down the grip line to Velma's chamber. Velma is not in the room. They stick together and move toward the divan. Velma walks into the room, sees them, and says,
Hello, Oliver. I was hoping we would meet again. Hey, Velma. Why did you break into my palace this time? I just want to ask you a few questions. And I got you a present.
Oliver opens one of his vest pockets and pulls out a sculpture of a blue tulip. Oliver says,
It reminded me of you when I saw it, so I got it for you.
Velma walks over to Oliver, takes the sculpture, and says,
You sweet little man.
She caresses Oliver's face.
And to think I was about to kill you all. The Grimm is increasing its activities in New York City. We think they're after something. Do you know about this? You are the second group who has asked me about that. Who else asked about this matter? The third, I asked about the Grimm. Tell me, little man, does the Grimm scare you that much? We need to know so that we can keep our country, and every country for that matter, safe. They want a boy. Do you know what they intend to do with the boy? Niet. And you said the third eye was here? Did they want anything else other than information about the Grimm? Let me see. They wanted information about my other customers, especially Crit Intel. What is the Crit Intel? They're a gang that's growing in Washington, and they engineer their own equipment. Who spoke for the third eye? Their leader was one of the sexiest men alive. Did he give you a name? I didn't ask. I was so distracted by his body. Ooh. I see. Is there anything else that they asked for? No. Oh, really? Would I lie to you, Oliver? Maybe if it involved close-off. By the look on your face, I'd say it was.
Get out!
Now, Velma, I need this information.
Guards!
Dwayne?
Dwayne pulls a large projectile weapon off of his back and launches an adhesive blob at the main entrance that jams the entrance to the chamber.
Big mistake!
Velma pulls out an enormous blade from a sheath that is beside her divan. Oliver pulls out a huge stun gun from his back. Oliver fires the gun at Velma's wrist. The energy of the gun causes Velma to let go of the blade, and Dwayne fires an adhesive projectile at her feet, trapping her.
Will you tell me about close-off?
You will pay for that! I will have your heads on my walls as trophies!
What did they say about close-off? PTA, 8 seconds. This isn't over, Velma.
They climb back up to the window. Velma is slowly pulling her feet from the adhesive trap. Her men blow open the doors and flood into the room. Velma breaks free from the black polymer trap and screams,
You idiots! Get out there!
She jumps up to the window and breaks through it. She dives out the window and lands rolling. Squad 57 are scaling the outer gate 15 feet up. Velma runs up to the gate. Oliver straddles the gate, aims, and fires his taser gun at Velma's face. Velma ducks and avoids the taser blast. The Black Berets shimmy down the fence, and Velma leaps over in a single bound. She shakes the ground with her landing and has them cornered. Rick launches a flare bomb at Velma. She traps the explosive in her hands. The explosive goes off and burns her hands slightly. Oliver tosses a stun grenade, and the group quickly escape into the woods. Rick drops proximity flash mines. Velma stops when she sets one of them off. She soon keeps running, but can't find them. She stops and tries to pick up their scent. She tries to listen for them, but doesn't hear them. Velma runs ahead. The Squad 57 come out of the bushes 20 feet behind from where she was. The Black Berets run after Velma. They reach the airlift site, but lose track of Velma. They can hear the helicopter approaching. But then Velma charges at them. Just as Velma tackles Oliver, he pushes the taser gun into Velma's chest and fires it, rendering her unconscious. The helicopter flies in and lands. Oliver and Rick push her gargantuan arms in place, and Tax makes the arrest. The four of them load her 452-pound body into the helicopter. Squad 57 boards the helicopter and they take off. When Velma wakes up, she is on a jet plane that is heading to the Paranormal Military Research Division in Pennsylvania, and she is restrained in a mobile carbon fiber apparatus designed to keep strong creatures still. Velma says, "I thought you were my sweet little man, Oliver."
There will be a time for talking, but for now, remain quiet. So now what? We take her back to base and try to connect the dots.
Eventually, they reach the Paranormal Military Research Division in Pennsylvania. Velma is wheeled in for questioning. After the interrogation, the investigators consult with Oliver. Oliver walks into a room that is adjacent to the interrogation room and is separated by a one-way mirror. They shake hands and the investigator says,
"After so many years, you still got it." "What are you talking about, man?" "Velma's a dangerous adversary. I'm amazed at the fact that you were able to bring her down."
"Don't make me out to be old now. 86 is the new 25.
Yeah, right. So Velma refused to talk about close-off, but she told us that the Third Eye Group is preparing for an attack most likely, and that she gave them a warehouse on 88th Street and 2nd Avenue in New York.
If these people wanted help from close-off, they're up to something big.
We'll find the Third Eye if we survey the local gang activity. If they make money, somebody's got to bump into them. I also have a report of the interview for the missing persons case.
The investigator opens the file folder that he was carrying and says,
"It says here that the boy lives with his aunt, and when she was interviewed, she says that the boy took off saying ecstatically that he was going to pursue his destiny and run the planet the day of his disappearance."
"Run the planet?"
The aunt says that he talks that way all the time, but I think the central theme here is that he said he was going to pursue power, goes to a gang organization, then he disappears.
You think they recruited him?
It's a bit presumptuous, but it's plausible. What do you think?
I'm not sure yet. But in the meanwhile, we should investigate that warehouse.
I'll have a couple agents over there in a few hours.
Good. Keep me posted.
Will do.
At the warehouse, Marcus awakes and says, "Funny. I thought I would wake up at home." He opens the door to his room and sees the monster sitting in the same position that he was in last night.
The universe is your home now, Marcus.
"Did you get any sleep?"
I don't sleep.
"Is there anywhere to bathe and brush my teeth here?"
No. But when the right hand arrives, I will have him take you to his apartment to take care of your ablutions. When you return, I will order a breakfast for you. Then we will go to see the trap.
"What is the trap?"
They're a gang that is a prime target to form an alliance with.
"Can I eat now?"
The hunger is in your mind. It will pass.
I wonder if Melissa still remembers what happened last night.
She does. But what she will do with that information is most important. And I will continue to keep my eye on her.
I'm going to start doing push-ups.
That's good, but don't tire yourself out here. We might have to leave this place at any moment.
Why?
Well, in case you weren't paying attention to Melissa last night, your aunt is looking for you and has filed a missing persons case on you.
Do you think that they will find us?
Yes.
What do we do?
The government will shut down all of the activity centers across the country.
That is horrible.
No, that is good. Without the activity centers, a lot of the youth will lose their outlets and will begin feeding the gangs, which we will control.
Yes, I suppose.
Your hesitance to kill and manipulate others is a good quality, and it will get you far, but you will get farther if you know when it is time to destroy your enemies without mercy or reservation.
A balance is necessary.
To transcend your mortal shackles, you must change the way your soul operates, and we will start with the mind.
What is a soul?
Think of us as candles. Our body, like the candle, contains the wick, that is, the fuel, for our fire. Our soul is like the fire that burns the fuel and performs work.
What if your fire is transformed into something else, like in a steam engine?
Then you would become something else.
I want to be like you. How can I do that?
My journey is not for you to take. But you will have your day to transcend. Just wait.
Hours later, the right hand walks into the warehouse and says, "We have a problem."
I am already aware of the activity center's predicament.
Then what will be done?
We will withdraw our forces from the activity centers and place those men in a temporary home with some of the other members. The local police forces will lose the trail long enough for us to make our next move. Take the boy back to your home so that he may use your bathroom and clean himself. Tell the others that we will not meet here.
For what reason?
This place will soon be compromised.
We will move to an abandoned movie theater uptown.
After we meet with the trap. Once Marcus is done with your apartment, take him to that restaurant down the street. Then take him and the faculty to the trap's headquarters, and I will meet you there.
Yes, facilitator.
Marcus and the right hand walk out of the warehouse. The monster waits silently. An hour later, a car pulls up to the warehouse. 2 detectives get out of the car and scope the perimeter of the warehouse. Detective Daniel says, "Let's see who's home." They approach the east entrance with their weapons drawn. Daniel opens the door and Detective Bradley walks in. They see a warehouse full of crates and boxes. Bradley says as they're walking cautiously,
"Some of these crates have been opened. And this one still has a little something in it.
What kind of weapons are those?
These are black market weapons."
A voice says.
All right, you got me.
Both detectives turn around quickly. They see a scrawny little man in sweatpants and a plaid shirt with an elastic belt with his hands up. Daniel says,
"We're with the FBI. Who are you? I'm the guy you're looking for. So why don't you come here and punish me?" "Sir, we need you to give us your name." "Bradley J. Stern."
"What?"
"Drop to your knees, turn around, put your hands behind your head, and interlock your
The
fingers."
scrawny little man does as he was told. Daniel approaches the little man and reaches for his cuffs. But then the monster swiftly swings around onto its feet and slashes the detective's neck with its incredibly sharp claws, then returns to its previous position. Detective Bradley isn't sure what happened until his partner's body drops to the floor, bleeding profusely. A deep and menacing voice says,
"Death is nothing to be afraid of. Your sister Molly is going to die soon of cancer, isn't she?"
"Drop to the ground, now!"
The monster rises from its knees, turns around slowly, and walks toward the detective. The detective opens fire. The gunfire goes straight through the monster, as if it were not there. The monster pounces the detective to the floor. It slowly scratches the detective's cheek and licks the blood off of him. The monster says,
"You know, I knew your father. He was a pedophile, you know."
The detective tries to unpin his arms, but he can't get the monster off of him.
"He was caught molesting one of your sister's friends during your sister's birthday party."
The monster changes into its grotesque form. The detective says, "What are you?"
"I am your last fright."
The monster stuffs its hand under the detective's ribcage and pumps his heart full of a mixture of unknown liquids. The detective screams as he shrivels up and begins to leak blood from his pores. The monster gets up and says to the detective,
"Go to the front of the warehouse and wait there. Tell them that the end is near, and then you are free."
The detective, who is dripping with blood, walks to the front of the warehouse and waits. The monster nails the hands of Detective Daniel to the outer wall above the garage door of the warehouse with pipes, then runs off. The monster meets Marcus, the right hand, and the handful of Third Eye faculty. They begin to walk down the street. Marcus asks, "Why do the Third Eye members have apartments?"
"Because we need a place to go and we are not at one of our subsidiaries."
"I suppose that might look suspicious if these people lived at the Third Eye institution."
"Precisely."
The monster disguises himself as a tattooed Spanish gangster. "That's incredible! When you change form, does your consciousness change at all?"
"I am smaller, but other than that, no."
"Why do you change form when we go to make alliances? They might respect us more if they saw you in your other form and by my side."
Humans fear what they do not understand. They would fear me if they saw me in my garish form, and they might not cooperate with us.
Is that garish form your natural form?
We have arrived.
They walk down a small staircase into the trash courtyard of an apartment building. As they walk down a small, narrow corridor, Marcus asks, "Is this where the trap is located? This place looks very much like the garbage area of an apartment building."
That is where we are. Remember that we are here to form an alliance, and I leave the rest to you.
In the courtyard, a variety of armed men in bandanas are sitting at fold-out tables whilst drinking and playing cards. As Marcus, the monster, and the Third Eye faculty enter the courtyard, a group of men surrounds them. The monster says to Marcus telepathically,
"They are hostile. Prepare for a fight."
"Hold on a minute. We're here to befriend you. We don't have to fight." Just as the members of the trap aim their weapons, the monster leaps at them. The monster breaks one of their skulls open and then begins to beat the other trap gangsters with the body. Blood and brain matter flies everywhere as the Third Eye opens fire on the rest. Marcus tries to focus and avoid being in the line of fire. He stands back as the fighting ensues. When the last trapper is killed, Marcus, breathing deeply, says, "That was idiotic. So very idiotic."
It's not over yet, Marcus.
"What more do we need do?"
We need their leader. He must join us or die.
"Why?"
Because sometimes it is not how many you kill, but who you kill. If their leader can be subdued, then the rest will follow.
"Doesn't jumping into fights like this scare you?"
No weapon can harm me. What is there to fear?
"You should be more careful."
You mustn't project your fears onto me, Marcus.
That was a bit frightening.
Come, Marcus. You lead in front. We're going upstairs to find their leader.
They walk across a small courtyard, through a door, then into and up a small staircase. The monster says,
"Hand me your weapon."
The monster takes the weapon from the faculty member named Doa and walks into the lobby. The faculty stay behind. The monster turns a corner and a group of people started shouting and cursing. 3 gunshots are heard and then silence. The monster says,
"Stay where you are."
The monster walks to the apartment roster next to the buzzers at the main entrance and finds that apartment 5G has a small crown drawn above it with red marker. The monster walks back to the staircase and says,
Apartment 5G is where we will begin our search. Marcus, walk in front. You're the leader.
"Why do I not feel I am the leader?"
You're still learning.
Marcus, the monster, and the Third Eye faculty walk up the stairs to the 5th floor. Marcus says, "It's so quiet."
Good observation.
The monster is quiet for a moment, then says,
They're waiting for us.
"Then what do we do?"
Then let's not leave them waiting. Have your weapons ready, men.
The monster signals the Third Eye faculty to be behind him as they move up the staircase and around the banister, approaching the door. The monster knocks on the door and waits. The monster can sense 2 men slowly entering the foyer near the door. The monster kicks down the door, killing the first man. The second man raises his gun, but the monster leaps down the hall and slashes the man's hand off. More men run into the foyer and open fire. The monster walks effortlessly through the gunfire. It slashes and gashes his way through the crowd of trap gangsters, then turns a corner and walks down a hall. The Third Eye faculty enter and open fire on the remaining trap gangsters. One of the trappers shoots Marcus in the chest. Marcus falls down and says, "This dragon skin actually works." Once the trapsters in front of the hallway are all dead, screams can be heard from down the hall. Marcus, the right hand, and the rest of the Third Eye faculty run down the hallway. They find dismembered bodies and men bleeding to death on the floors as they approach a room at the end of the hall and enter it. When Marcus enters the room, he sees the monster stepping on a man wearing a black hood. Marcus says, "Is this the leader of the trap?"
Yes, but let's ask him. Are you the leader of the trap? I will kill all you stupid mother...
The monster kicks him. Don't hurt him. What is your name, Mr. Trap Leader?
You!
You are not going to use that language.
Go back to your aunt's house, little boy.
What? Take off his hood. The monster removes Trapper's hood and raises him to his knees. Minister George? You lead a gang?
Pot called the kettle black, apparently. You're always a bit rambunctious, but you joined a gang? Even after what gangs did your family? You surprised me, son.
This may be a gang now, but when I'm through here, there will be no more gangs and no more violence.
Do you really think that you could just kill off all the gangs? Call this guy off of me, and I'll help you.
You just said that you would kill all of us.
That was just out of spite. I won't hurt you.
He's lying, Marcus.
Shut the fuck, you dumb son of a... looking...
Your mouth, please. Must I wash it with soap?
You serious? No, I don't believe it. You did not make him the boss. He's never cursed a day in his life. He's a thumb-sucking baby.
He's more than you.
What did I just tell you,
Marcus looks into Trapper's eyes. Are you high?
What's it to you?
If you do not start behaving sensibly, I'm going to leave this room. And my friend here is going to do something horrible to you.
You're a man, you do it yourself.
Marcus walks away wondering if he was making the right decision. Marcus leaves the room past the crowd of the Third Eye faculty. He sits at the kitchen table and waits. A moment later, Trapper walks into the kitchen with blood coming out of his chest and mouth. Marcus was terrified and screamed,
Mentor!
The monster walks up behind Trapper, holds his shoulders, and says,
Behold my new friend here.
What did you do to him?
I made him a zombie, more or less.
What madness is this? This is unbelievable. Now we're breaking the laws of nature.
Nature has no laws. It is only us that have limitation.
Well, why did you do this to Trapper?
Because it's fun. And also our new friend can help us command the trap for us.
He is very creepy. Can we put a blanket over him or something?
You might as well get used to it, because you're going to be seeing things that will shock you much more than this.
Such as?
You'll see. Trapper, you will summon your forces and have them come with us.
Yes, master.
Trapper calls the other gang members by telephone and instructs them to meet them in front of the building with their cars. The monster, the Third Eye faculty, Marcus, and Trapper go to the front of the building and wait. Soon enough, a parade of trap gangsters arrive in front of the building. They exit their cars and are concerned to find Trapper bleeding and standing next to Marcus and the monster, who is still disguised as a Hispanic gangster. A few of the trap members approach, and one of them asks, What happened to you?
I'm fine, brother. I want you to go with Brother Marcus here. Is he one of us?
Yes, he is, brother.
The gangsters approach the apprehensive Marcus. 3 of them put their hands on his shoulders and say together,
We unite those who flee apart and stitch their flesh together. We are the brothers of the trap.
They release Marcus's shoulders, and the monster says to Marcus telepathically,
Tell them that you're going to lead them to a grim church and unite them with us, or trap them.
I will lead you to a church of the Grim and unite them or trap them. All of the trap gangsters cheer as Marcus, the right hand, and the monster board their jeep and take off. The armed trapsters get in their cars and follow. While driving, Marcus asks, What is a grim church?
A house of horrors, Marcus. And you will have to confront them.
Horror similar to what you did to Trapper?
You will just have to wait and see.
Why are we going there?
To send a message.
What is that message?
Get ready for hell.
Oh my. They drive up to the church on 29th Street and 8th Avenue. As the car pulls up to the church, Marcus is very nervous. The monster says,
If you walk in there looking like that, they will eat you alive. Literally. Compose yourself.
I will need a moment.
You don't have a moment. They know we're here.
How?
They have some means of detecting us from within the church. Let's go.
Marcus gets out of the jeep slowly and walks up the stairs, opens the large doors, and enters the church. The Third Eye and the trapsters are not far behind. They walk into a large sanctuary and see a few people sitting in the pews, deep in prayer, and a priest leaving the room. Marcus looks back and says, "This appears to be a normal church."
Appearances can be deceiving. Announce that you would like to see Nemrod.
Nemrod?
Yes, do it.
I don't think that we should draw any more attention to ourselves right now.
You must do it or we will be killed.
Why? The priest walks toward them and says, "What a big congregation we have today. I'm sorry that we had to show up here with 150 armed men, but we must find someone by the name of Nemrod." "Oh, Nemrod. You want to see Nemrod?" Yes, please." "Oh, he's busy." "Well, as you can see, this is urgent.
Nimrod's work takes precedence over the trap.
We are the Third Eye."
The Third Eye? You've got a lot of nerve coming here like this. If you do not respect the covenant between our groups, then you will incur the wrath of Machon. Surely you understand that.
The priest walks up to the reanimated trapper and says,
"This is excellent work. Who did this for you? Surely we didn't do it."
The trapper says,
What are you talking about?
The priest holds up his hand to the trapper and secretes a barely visible fluid from his hand. The fluid flies into the trapper's facial orifices, and the trapper's body quickly drops dead. The priest says,
Who reanimated this corpse so well? Was it you? The right hand to the Third Eye? No. What of you? The new leader, I presume?
The priest walks up to the disguised monster, then zaps him with an energy channel. The energy removes his disguise.
The priest says, You're the sorcerer. You did that to the trapper.
That's nothing compared to what I'll do to you.
The monster lunges at the priest, but the priest blasts him across the sanctuary and into the wall. The wall shakes and cracks from the impact. The priest begins to levitate above the ground, and he says,
I am imbued with the powers of Machon, and all those who are foolish enough to oppose Machon will suffer in the abyss for all eternity.
The right hand says, Destroy him! Everyone opens fire on the priest. Marcus runs toward the back of the room and tries to escape, but the doorway is filled with trapsters. The bullets and rockets disintegrate as they approach the priest's force field. The priest raises his arms, and everyone in the room, except for the monster, begin to levitate into the air. Soon enough, the air was filled with men. The doorway was clear now, but Marcus was in the air too. The monster gets up and says,
Now you die, fool!
The priest launches a blast of unknown destructive energy at the monster. The monster absorbs the bolt and hurls it back at the priest, burning his hand. The priest screams, and the monster leaps, then tackles the priest right out of the air. It lands on top of the priest and begins to savagely beat him. His claws only scratch the priest. The priest blasts the monster, sending it flying to the back of the altar. The monster gets up, runs to the podium, rips it out of the altar, and chucks it at the priest. The priest's force field rises and disintegrates the podium before it can strike him. The priest sends bolts of dark energy to zap the monster, but the monster jumps, avoids the bolts, rips through the force field, and lands on the priest. The monster grabs the priest by the throat. All of the men that were in the air drop to the floor. The monster drains the energy out of the priest. The priest says,
There is so much you can learn from us. If you kill me, you will never learn your true potential.
And there is even more I can learn from your death.
The monster drains all of the dark energy from the priest, and then his memories, his emotions, and his chemical energy. Just before the priest turns to dust, the monster is zapped by dark energy, falls off of the stage and onto the floor. A tall man in a priest's robe walks onto the altar and says,
You would dare transgress against a member of the Grimm. And what's this? The Third Eye and the Trap have come to challenge the might of Machon.
The men open fire again, and the tall priest gestures, and several of the men turn into freakish 8-foot-tall monstrosities. The beasts begin to prey on the gangsters. The gangsters are able to wound the creatures, but the bullets do not completely stop their relentless pursuit for the flesh of the living. Screaming, gunfire, and chaos breaks out in the church. The monster jumps onto the stage and says,
Nemrod,
Yes, it's me, in the flesh. I see my illustrious reputation precedes me.
I've come to give you a message and kill you if the opportunity arises.
I guarantee it won't be as easy as it was for you to kill my priest, Monty.
Nemrod levitates the ashes of the minister Monty and lies it before the monster's feet. Nemrod says,
I've never seen anything like you. What kind of creature are you?
You may call me Executioner.
But what are you? Your power says to me demon, but your form says to me beast.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Funny. That is what I was going to tell you.
Nemrod opens a portal underneath the remains of the priest Monty that sucks in the ashes. Once the burnt cinder is gone, a monolithic armored beast wielding a massive metal club climbs out of the portal and looks at the monster. Nemrod says,
You know these Roxers were once soldiers of another realm, but now serve Mojo.
And it recognizes me.
The Roxer swings at the monster. The monster becomes intangible, and the Roxer's battle club does not hit him. The Roxer's battle club glows with dark energy, and the Roxer swings again. The club hits the monster despite his ghost-like body and sends him flying across the room, through a wall and into a hallway. The monster has difficulty getting up and tastes something reminiscent of pain for the first time. The monster says,
Nothing ever hurt so good.
The monster uses its new sensations and gets up to fight. When the monster re-enters the sanctuary, the Roxer is smashing the helpless gangsters. Some open fire on the Roxer, but the Roxer is unharmed. The monster recovers and jogs over to the Roxer. The Roxer immediately directs its attention to the monster and swings its club to strike. The monster leaps across the room and avoids the attack. The Roxer continues its assault, and the monster gets into the rhythm of the beast's attacks. The monster avoids the attacks, then jumps onto the Roxer and scratches its face. The monster finds that the beast is vulnerable to the dark energy that the monster absorbed earlier from the priest Monty. With tactile precision, the Roxer smacked the monster off of its face with its club. The monster's body smashes through the altar. The monster slowly climbs out from the gaping hole in the altar, and the Roxer grabs him. The Roxer says,
I've waited an eternity to kill you.
The monster roars, then breaks the Roxer's appendages, then jumps back onto its face. The monster tries to find out how the Roxer recognizes it by draining the brainwaves of the Roxer, but finds it can't, because the Roxer has no brain. The Roxer quickly heals and grabs the monster by its legs. The Roxer slams the monster into the stage, then raises its club. The monster moves quickly and evades the strike. The monster grabs Nemrod as the Roxer raises its club again. Nemrod blasts the monster, knocking it away just as the Roxer strikes. The Roxer almost hits Nemrod. Nemrod says,
If you hit me, I'll send you straight back to the pit that you came from.
While the Roxer is distracted, the monster jumps onto the tip of the Roxer's club and drains the energy from it. The Roxer tries to smash the club into the wall with the monster on it, but the monster jumps off before the Roxer can swing. The monster descends upon the Roxer, delivering a blow that is charged by all the energy of the club. The Roxer falls and smacks the ground with its enormous body, leveling half of the altar. The club created a fiery ravine in the middle of the church as it hit the floor. The monster jumps onto the Roxer's shoulders to drain it of all its energy and finish it off. Nemrod tries to slow the monster down by firing dark energy bolts at it, but the monster simply learned to absorb them too. The remaining cameras inside the church transmit the events that are taking place to an office nearby. The undercover agents in that office contact the Paranormal Military Research Division's director. When Director Markel Waffer learns of the situation, he immediately contacts Oliver's Squad 57, explains the situation, and sends Oliver and his squad, along with many others, to New York City. While the monster is absorbing the Roxer's energy, the monster notices a squad of police officers outside preparing to bust in. The monster says,
It looks like the jig is up, Nemrod.
A small delay, but we will meet again, and when we do, I will see you die a horrible death.
That's funny. I was just about to say the same to you.
Nemrod disappears into a purple mist, and the Roxer disintegrates into black dust. The police bust in and shout,
Everybody, hands up!
The remaining bloodthirsty beasts run after the officers and Marcus, who is right next to them by the exit. The officers shoot at them, but the bullets don't stop all of them. One of the beasts attack Marcus. Marcus struggles to get away, but the creature jumps onto Marcus and bites into his shoulder, tearing into his deep tissue. Before the beast could rip Marcus's arm off, The monster breaks the creature's back, pries open its mouth, and incapacitates it before it can break free. As the other creatures cause panic and destruction on the streets, Marcus lies on the church floor and says, "Why can I not move?
You're going into shock, Marcus.
Look at all this blood. How can I bleed now? I have failed you."
Are you going to submit to defeat? Or now are you going to do as I told you and use death to your advantage?
For a second I thought you were going to die.
And yet,
I'm so weak.
I'm going to stop your heart like before to stop the bleeding.
The monster stops Marcus's heart and lifts his body. The monster takes Marcus's body outside and quickly runs past the police into a jeep. It takes off in the jeep with Marcus's body before the police could disable the vehicle. As the monster drives through the city, Marcus's astral form asks, "Can you hear me?"
Yes, Marcus, I can hear you.
"I'm still somewhat weak. What will we do?"
We will find an area of this city where we won't be disturbed. Then I can teach you to heal.
The monster eventually arrives in a remote parking lot. The monster leaves its body and joins Marcus in astral form. The monster says,
We must travel to the ether of the cosmos.
"How do we do that?"
You must focus on the place you wish to go, then allow your focus to pull you there.
The monster takes Marcus on a trip through the fabric of space and time. They both arrive in a bright, unbelievably vast place. Marcus asks, "Is this the ether of the cosmos you spoke of?"
Yes,
"It looks as I would have imagined the inside of a nebula would look." "This is incredible."
focus, Marcus. We have much to do, and we do not have long. Be very still in your mind, Marcus.
Marcus is quiet. A few moments later,
When you sense this, focus on it, and you shall heal.
"What is this?"
It is life essence.
Marcus focuses and his flesh is gradually restored.
We are done.
It is done? It isn't very clear to me what happened here. How does one explore something so obscure?
We shall speak of dark magic some other time. Now we depart.
The two of them travel back through time and space to the parking lot in New York City. Marcus says, "That was amazing. We have to go back there at some point." The monster snaps back into his body, and Marcus says, "To me, my hound." Marcus awakes in his body, sits up and says, I feel better already."
If you exert yourself too much, you will weaken before you can heal. For now, pretend you are injured until you are fully healed.
"I'm not fully healed."
Not yet. The magic of the Grim is stymieing my power, though you will still heal rapidly.
The monster drives off with Marcus in the back seat. Marcus asks, "Our men have been destroyed? We can't go back to the activity center or the warehouse. What do we go? Where do we go now?"
We will go to Jamal's home. He will be our new right hand. We have lost this battle, but we have not lost the war.
Chapter 4: Leaps and Bounds.